What's up, y'all? I'm Jordy, and I joined the first ever Pokemon Champions VGC Draft League. This is the Ditto Draft League, hosted by a friend of mine, Jingles, so I'm hoping we're having a good time. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to go over my picks, try to give you some explanation of why I picked them, and also introduce you to the other coaches that are going to be in this Draft League. And if you're not very into Draft League, if you haven't been watching that kind of content before, I have done one Draft League in the past, but it's not something I usually do, so it's a little bit new to me too. So let's jump on into this. Here are all of the coaches. We have 14 different YouTubers, so all these names here are on the screen. These are their YouTube channels. Go and check them out if you want to follow this league. A few of these are probably names you know if you follow my channel, but there are also some people coming in from singles, which will be a really fun time to see how they can swing it in VGC. Some of these names have a lot of draft league experience, much more than me, but I'm hoping my doubles experience will give me a little bit of an edge in some of those matchups, but it remains to be seen. Basically, the rules for this draft were we're each going to be drafting 10 Pokemon. The draft order is as you see it here, starting with Scooteezy. I got third pick, pretty lucky there. And then it'll snake back around when it gets to the end. And there are not going to be tiers. So you don't have a budget, there's no points to spend. When it's your turn, you can take any Pokemon that's still available and not have to worry about it. And this, in my opinion, greatly boosts the value of powerful support mons. Because if you had a budget, maybe you don't want Whimsicott, you'll take some other Tailwind setter that's not quite as good, but with no budget on the line, Whimsicott, for example, is very, very valuable. So just to give you some of the mindset of some of these people before going into it, but let's get into my draft. So my first pick was male Basculegion. Mega Floette was another option I was considering, but that was already taken, and because I was third. Basculegion is one thing I wanted to pick because of its massive flexibility and massive strength. If you play VGC in Pokemon Champions, you see this thing all the time. Basculegion has crazy comeback potential with Last Respects, which will boost its power for every Pokemon you've lost, which I feel like in Draft League could be an incredibly powerful tool. Because if I'm winning, then I'm winning, and if I'm losing, I have a really powerful Pokemon that can give me some comeback potential. Here on the screen we've got the stats, we've got the most used moves, abilities, and items. I'm putting this on the screen for you because I didn't want to just handpick these because I knew I would be biased. I don't want to potentially be revealing any text that I'm trying to come up with or any text that I'm trying to hide. So just to give you an understanding of what this Pokemon is if you're not familiar with it. But basically, just using Choice Scarf Adaptability Last Respects is probably one way I will use this. I might not have to reach into its kit much further than the standard moves because this Pokemon's just that good. When the pick came back around to me, my second choice was Farigiraf. Still no Mega Evolution, just probably one of the most powerful supports in the game. Whimsicott, which I was talking about earlier, was taken already. But Farigiraf, probably the second best support, maybe even the best support, with the ability Armor Tail blocking all priority. And this is the #1 Trick Room setter there is, and it doesn't have to be on Trick Room. If you have offense that's going fast, you don't want to get stopped by sucker punches or fake outs, Farigiraf is the way. With the no-cost draft, I figured this would be a great pick, and with Basculegion and Farigiraf now, I have a very solid fast, I have a very solid slow. Basculegion could even work in Trick Room, and anything I build from here I felt like would be powerful. Since I was at the front of the draft, the next pick came to me real fast, and that is Mega Kangaskhan. The way we're handling Megas in this draft is if you draft the Mega, you have to be holding the Mega Stone, but that does not necessarily mean you have to Mega Evolve it. So here on the screen I have its stats both pre and post Mega. Mega Kangaskhan is really powerful, but it's also usable in its base form. With the partner for Farigiraf using Fake Out, I'm basically guaranteed to have Trick Room in any game I want, especially because the opponents can't have Farigiraf to stop my Fake Outs. And in base form, you can use Scrappy Fake Out to fake out even Ghosts, so a double Ghost lead wouldn't even get around that. I think Kangaskhan is a really powerful tool. It can potentially sweep in Trick Room, but it's also fast. It has the Fake Out support. I just thought it was a very well-rounded pick. It's just a well-rounded Pokemon, and so that was my third pick. My next pick after Kangaskhan, I knew I wanted a Follow Me user. And after my Kangaskhan pick, both Mousehold and Clefable were taken, so I'm going with Mega Clefable. I definitely would have preferred base Clefable, but honestly, Mega Clefable is really good. You can use it in base form with powerful abilities like Unaware or Magic Guard. It's gonna click Follow Me probably in most games, but the fact that I actually got the Mega, I'm starting to like. The different typing can switch it up in the middle of a game, and it has a lot of special attack. You do not have to use this as a support if you're using the Mega form, because 135 special attack Moonblasts, that sounds familiar. Those can hurt. So I'm pretty happy with this pick. Now I have Fake Out, I have Armor Tail, I have a Fast Ghost, I have just everything I need for a powerful team. Now let's start building out that team with something that can actually work with all this support. So my next pick was Excadrill. Ground types with Earthquake were going like hotcakes in this draft, so I wanted to grab a strong one. 135 attack on Excadrill, very powerful. You'll see here the second most used item on Excadrill actually is Excadright. I'm a little surprised by that. I will not be able to use the Mega because I drafted the base form. But we have powerful tools. We have Sand Rush or Mold Breaker we can utilize, assuming I draft Sand as well. And I guess Sand Force in the right matchup could be good, maybe under Trick Room if I don't need Mold Breaker. I'll consider that, honestly. 88 speed with Sand Rush is faster than pretty much anything my opponents are going to have unless they put up Tailwind. So this could be a very powerful fast mode. And next to the Mega Clefable, we can Earthquake freely, so I think it's a really powerful combo, potentially set up with Excadrill and sweep it that way. Alright, my next pick is something else I can Earthquake next to. It was going to be Mega Hawlucha, actually, because it could have been funny to try to entrainment myself to Horn Drill and Fissure, but it got taken before I got to it. But I'm not too upset. That would have been a gimmick that everyone could see coming and would have been prepped for. So I went with this Levitate user, Rotom Mow. It gives me a grass type. There's not a ton of good grass types in this game. Sinistcha was already gone at this point. And so Rotom, just really good. It's in the middle speed, which is where I want to be. I can go fast. It could be Choice Scarf Electro Web. You see that's high in usage. It could just be kitted out to be very bulky and support. It could be very slow and strong to go in Trick Room. Just a very flexible, balanced mon with a good amount of bulk. That's kind of the name of the game for me in this. If every Pokemon is good, then you have to prep for every Pokemon, you know? So I'm pretty happy with this pick. Alright, my next pick in the draft, it shouldn't be surprised that I have Sand on this team, but it might surprise you to know that I didn't draft this right away. My next pick originally was Armarouge. Armarouge gave me a fire type I wanted to fill out my Fire, Water, Grass core, and it gave me Wide Guard because I have access to pretty much every other great support move except Wide Guard. But later in the draft, I ended up picking a different Wide Guard Pokemon and a different fire type, so I swapped Armarouge out for Hippowdon. Hippowdon is here for two reasons. One, it sets Sandstream for Excadrill. That's a really powerful combination. The opponents will be ready for it, but that doesn't mean they can necessarily stop it very easily. Hippowdon is super tanky, super hard to remove, and is also a very slow Pokemon at 47 base speed, so it can technically be utilized in Trick Room as a sweeper. 112 attack is not nothing. It has ways to boost, but mostly it's a wall. You can see its top used moves. Why is Quick Claw at 7.3%? Hold up. Are they cooking? Okay, someone's cooking with Hippowdon, but yeah, mostly leaning into bulk. It's got Yawn, Protect, Slack Off in the top four. It's got leftovers and Citrus Berry. This is a tanky mon, and that's probably the way to utilize it most of the time. For my next pick, I picked Mega Gyarados, mostly because it was just still there on round 8. I don't know why this thing is being slept on. Gyarados in its base form, water flying, something I can Earthquake next to, something that can use Intimidate to support the team. That is one thing I was missing. I don't consider Intimidate particularly powerful, but the fact that I have it on my team in draft means the opponent has to be ready for it. So I might, even if I don't bring Gyarados to the match, or even if I don't bring Gyarados at all and it stays on the bench 1 week, my opponent still will probably be putting a White Herb on one of their Pokemon just to get around the Intimidate. And I also consider Mega Gyarados to be probably the best item on Gyarados, so the fact that I'm stuck using Gyarados every week, I'm not too mad about. This thing can set up Dragon Dances with my Fake Out support, with my Follow Me support. It can be my fast mode. It's not super fast, so it's that middle speed, super bulky mon that I really wanted. And it's just amazing. I'm surprised it was still around. Next up, Conkeldurr. I decided to lean into the Trick Room that I had already been able to set up very easily and just get a really powerful Trick Room sweeper. Conkeldurr has 140 attack and Iron Fist or Guts or Sheer Force to boost the power of its moves. Usually it runs Iron Fist. It gets a lot of moves that are boosted by that. Guts is a little bit harder to use in Champions because there is no Flame Orb, there is no Toxic Orb. Though there are ways to status yourself, and you can also just use Guts to make sure the opponent doesn't status you. But for the most part, Iron Fist, Black Belt, Drain Punch, that sounds pretty nice. This Pokemon also gets Wide Guard, so this can be my Wide Guard user, especially since I dropped Armarouge, if I need that in a certain matchup. And then finally, for our final pick, Salazzle. I knew I wanted a Poison type in this final pick, and I had a list of them written down. And then before I got to pick this, Greninja, Gengar, Glimmora, Galarian Slowbro, and Roserade all went this round. And I'm counting Greninja because it gets Gunk Shot and Sludge Wave, so it can sometimes be a Poison type. So it was on my list for that reason. Just Poison offense, good against Fairies. The only other thing I have that hits Fairies was Excadrill, and I didn't want to rely on only that because that's easy to get around. And there are a couple really powerful Fairies in the meta if you don't know. One person got Mega Floette, the other person got regular Floette. Those are both really strong. There's also a Mega Gardevoir out there, and a regular Gardevoir out there. So I really wanted a Poison type. Salazzle works really well though. It's the fastest member of my team when there's no condition on the field, and it has a very fast Fake Out. It also has a ton of tech it can do. It seems like the most common set is just Sash offensive. That bulk is not very good, obviously. But it provides me a fire type I needed, so we can have pretty decently powerful fire coverage. It gets Heat Wave, it gets Overheat, has 111 special attack, that's not bad. And then the ability Corrosion. Corrosion can pair with Toxic, so you can Toxic Steel types. And it looks like here, based on these stats, some people are running Corrosion just for Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb will not hit a Steel type when you have Corrosion, but if you Sludge Bomb into a Poison type, you do have that 30% chance to poison them, so I kind of get it. It's better than Oblivious in some cases, but Oblivious blocking Taunt might be usable some weeks if I'm not specifically running Toxic on this. So, that's my draft. Here, full team is here on the screen for you to take in. I hope you liked it. I'm very happy with what I have. I have a lot of bulk, I have a lot of different options, a very balanced type chart. But hopefully you can tell me in the comments if you see any holes that I might need to patch up. I do have some trades mid-season, but also let me know what you like, what you want to see. There's going to be 7 weeks of regular season and then playoffs. Hopefully we'll be in playoffs. I feel like this team can take me there as long as I prep well and play well, which I can play pretty well. I'm okay at this game, but we'll see how it goes. There's a lot of strong players. Go to the description below, check out Jingles' stream of everyone's draft. I appear on there at one point to talk about my team as well. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'm Jordy, and alright, peace.